Hey y'all, this is Marla K. Hope everybody is well. Had to redo this video because they blocked my other video. I was about to say a bad word, but I'm not. Anyway, the reason that it was blocked is because it is talking about the Last Supper and basically all the satanic themes and undertones of the opening of the 2024 Summer Olympics. I'm sorry. So they had this I don't know what you call it, just hot mess of a Last Supper event. And we know that the world is under judgment. The adversary has been unleashed to do whatever he will and to kill, devour, destroy, do whatever he wants to do for his season. And so, in my opinion, this is just a open, just telegraph to the world because, of course, at the Olympics, most countries send athletes to compete. So it's almost like we're in unison, we're together, we're on one accord with this evil demonic agenda. And if you know anything about the Olympics anyway, it's the same thing. It's giving honor to these Greek gods, these giants, these fallen angels, everything that is evil and bad that comes from over yonder way that we always talk about, the children of the corn, that's their stuff. And so when we participate, we give we pay homage to it. When we watch it, we are being indoctrinated and we're literally cursing ourselves. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that a lot of the things that they're doing, they're casting spells and doing chants and taking possessions of people's souls through their eyes and through their ears. So it's very important that we be mindful of what we consume. Lately I've been seeing a lot of, not lately, it's been for black people, it's been like this for a long time. We just didn't know we were being cursed and being put under spells with the music and the programming that we've been conditioned to believe is okay by Hollywood. But right now, the demonic activity is very high, and it's in everything. It's in sports, it's in all entertainment, it's in the news, it's in your celebrities, it's in your politicians, it's on social media. People are producing it. I've never seen so many things about manifesting and tarot card readings and karma. It's wild. Crystals and smudging and this and that and new age religion. So it's a very crazy time. And so you have to be really careful of what you watch. And it ain't so much as what you watch, because I believe we're supposed to keep watch of everything. I'm not saying don't watch nothing, because I look at all this stuff. I don't look at it to consume it. I just look at it from a perspective of, this is where we are in the transition from this old system to this new system, to the final world kingdom to come before the Messiah comes to scoop us up and to destroy this place, because it needs sanitizing, let's just say that. So anyway, let's get into this story. So the Paris Olympics producers say the Last Supper inspired that opening ceremony scene. Many have done it before, but nobody has done it like this. And I don't know if you can see, like, that's supposed to be a man. It's a man with a beard, long hair, dressed like a woman. This person here is wearing this thing. I think they call it the Eucharist. I don't know. If you look at the Catholic Church's stuff, they always have this little symbol over everything. But just the fact that it put it over this big old woman, you know what the Bible talks about: slothfulness, uncleanliness, gluttony, all these different things about overconsumption. And basically, I'm not just giving us a summation of what the word basically talks about. It's just how your outward appearance reflects your inward appearance. And so then you got this big old woman within the, and now let me just say, I'm not saying nothing about people who are obese, because I know people are overweight for a lot of different reasons. But some people are overweight just because they're lazy. They've been taught to not care about themselves, or allowed to not to live in a way that lets them not care about themselves, consume what they want. It's just a symptom of what's wrong with the world today, especially in America. And then you look at this symbol on the top of her head, and I was telling you about in another video, the Pope has been talking about brother, son, brother, son, brother, son. So that is something else that we have to also be paying attention to, because this also has sun worship in it. It's talking about the coming worship of climate and the elements and nature, things that we're not supposed to worship. We're only supposed to worship the Creator. And gently, we're being led to accept all these different types of worship. This is a form of worship. Similar to what was done in Sodom and Gomorrah. You look at how they lived during the Roman Empire. This is a return to what has been, and it's, to me, modeling or symbolism of what's to come if you are not taking that narrow path and getting up out of here, getting out of this world. So as we scroll, you see this man here with this yellow beard, and I don't. This is a man, don't have no boobs, dressed like a woman, and all these men, and they do have some women, you know. But look at everybody's dressed provocatively, look just downright. And this is supposed to be a scene from the Last Supper. And as you can see, the cheese and the flowers and all the inappropriate stuff. This is supposed to be Adam. If you look and if you go back and read how Adam was naked and wasn't clothed, like all these things are symbolisms. You got fruit and flowers and all the things that are described in Genesis about what the world looked like and what was available in the Garden of Eden. So this is supposed to be like a modeling, in my opinion. I don't know for sure, but in my opinion, I see this as symbolic of Adam in the Garden of Eden. So let me read this article to y'all. And then after they do it, the other thing is, like, they do this stuff, and they know Christians or people who are believers are gonna be pissed. And then after they do it, they're like, well, we apologize. But by then they done opened up all the portals. They done already did all the curses and chants all over everybody. They have telegraphed to the world that, hey, this is our agenda: the alphabet, color, rainbow, be anything you want to be. As, I don't know how you say it, as is above as is below, or whatever the thing is, the Baphomet symbol. I can't say exactly how their mantra is, but it's basically Luciferianism on display. And the synagogue of Hasatan is here. You can see it. You can't deny it anymore. And everybody feels the darkness. I don't know, for the last 2 weeks, I've just been really exhausted and tired. I don't sleep well. You just feel like your energy is being harvested. Like when you're resting and supposed to rest, you're not actually resting, because something is just sucking the life out of you. So there's something over this planet, and in particular in the West. But the rest of the world seems to try to be fighting it off and rejecting it. But our 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 folks are not, and it's just very disheartening because you can see as the days grow, um, as this year comes to an end or to a close, you can see the days just getting darker, and you see more and more demonic activity, the welcoming of the adversary to take over and rule. So we all have to be careful because a lot of people don't know what's going on, and they're not cleaning their temples, so they're going to be easy targets to inhabit. So it says a Paris Olympic opening ceremony reminiscent of Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, which is the painting. It is not a reflection of the last meal shared with the Messiah in the Bible. So don't get it twisted, because that picture is full of errors. First of all, it's of white people, and we know the Messiah and the disciples wasn't. They were not those people. So anyway, the Last Supper continued to stir controversy Sunday as Paris 2024 producers and the ceremony's designer, Thomas Joly, released separate, apparently opposing statements on where it drew its inspiration from. We knew where it drew it from the devil. The scene in question featured a line of drag performers posing shoulder to shoulder on a Parisian bridge before turning the bridge into a fashion-forward catwalk. Later, those same queens celebrated over a meal where the dish was revealed to be a nearly nude man painted blue. Many, including Joly and the official Olympics Games X account, said that the scene is an interpretation of the Greek god. So here, already, they're telling you that the return of the gods is coming. The return of the giants. To me, this is a symbolism for what is to come. So it says this is an interpretation of the Greek god Dionysus that makes us aware of the absurdity of violence between human beings. Others, including a statement from Paris 2024 producers obtained by the Rap Sunday, said that it was in fact inspired by Da Vinci's famous painting, a skewing of the religious imagery that has been slammed by the Christian right as a mockery of Jesus Christ. For the festivities, and the other thing I want to say before I go on is you can see where there's a continued intentional confusion for Christians or people who belong to the Christian church. They don't necessarily really understand, that that the children of the corn, Jesus Christ, is not real, and as well as their image of the Last Supper is not real, because their image was created by children of the corn, and it was modeled after people from the Greek and Roman empires, but not from the actual Hebrews or the Israelites, the people of the book who actually were participants of the Last Supper and who were not like any of these people. So because people don't understand history of the church, history of the Catholic Church, history of Christendom, how all the stuff from the original Bible, the oldest Bible in the world, or just, oral history, because a lot of our history was not written down. It was oral history, and they wrote it down so they could modify it to suit their needs. This is why there's so much confusion, and so people are upset. Yes, they're upset, but they don't really understand, or even if they do understand, they are all complicit in the Confederacy conspiring against us, because all this stuff is about us, is for us. And in my opinion, It's meant to keep us twisted up in their religion so that we will not be set apart, and we won't be able to cry out to the Most High. When we cry out, we won't be heard because we're not talking to our Savior, our Messiah, and our God, our Most High, our Elohim, our Adonai. We're talking to their God, the Greek god Dionysus, or whoever, and their Jesus Christ, who's a made up person, and their last image of the Last Supper, which is not truly the image of the Last Supper, because the people in the Last Supper picture are not Hebrews. They were not Israelites. So it says, for the festivities segment, Thomas Jolly took inspiration from Leonardo da Vinci's famous painting to create the setting. Producer said in the statement, clearly, there was never an intention to show disrespect towards any religious group or belief. That's a lie, because if they had done it to the Muslims, and they would have talked about their holy book, the whole planet would have been on fire today. They wouldn't have did that about Allah. You know why? Because them folks don't play about their religion. But they mock Christians because Christians have been taught to be cowards. Christians have been taught to turn the other cheek. Christians have been taught to not defend themselves. Christians, at one point, Christianity, there were two versions. There were two Bibles, the slave Bible and then the other word for white folk. Well, now it's like white folks done took the slave Bible and read it and internalized it, and now they have become passive as well about their faith. So it's easy to mock a faith that's not going to do anything, that's not going to fight back. And that is what you see. But at the end of the day, the people that created all the different religions that people follow today is the Catholic Church. So they've taught people to be passive. They've created the divisions. They've taught people to be passive. And then they've skewed all of these holy books to basically modify certain segments of the population's culture, their morals, and their values. And some people have and I'll just attribute it to their DNA. Some people have a DNA that, allows them to maintain their history and their culture. They know where it came from. They know their lineage. They know their culture. They know they haven't been taken away from their region, and so they're able to maintain who they are and what they are. They've been in the same place for thousands of years. Unlike us, who are the real people, we're scattered all over the place. We're in captivity. We've been given a watered down religion that allows us to be victims and in captivity and oppressed, and allows our perpetrators to violate us and abuse us and make us not defend ourselves. So when you look at Christianity in general, it is very much like slavery. Except for, at one point in time, it was just black people who were taught to be different and not fight and not given the Old Testament where, Israelites was kicking everybody, but except for when they were disobedient, then the Most High let them get their butts kicked and put into captivity. But now the whole world is like basically reading out of the slave Bible, and they act like slaves. And it's very disheartening, but this is what a lukewarm church looks like. And that's why in the end times it talks about how the lukewarm church is going to be spit out because they don't stand for nothing. Just like they're upset, but not upset enough to um, physically do anything to protect or defend the way that they say is so important and the values. And they haven't done it in a long time, which is why these people don't have any fear of being disrespectful to their way and their culture. They're not being disrespectful to nobody else's religion or culture. They ain't bothering Buddha. They ain't bothering the Baha'i faith. They're not bothering the Muslims. They're not bothering all these other religions. They're not bothering New Age. They got them. They created New Age. Um, and when I say they, I'm just referring to the hidden hands that are pulling all the strings, and the Pope, because they sanction all this stuff, is an extension of the Roman Empire, which goes back to the Tower of Babel. So there's nothing new under the sun here. It's just this is the end, and everybody has to take a stand. Everybody has to make a decision. But you got to also know the history and the roots of Christianity and where it came from. And Christianity was derived from everything that you see today. So this is why you can't be angry at Christianity, really, because its roots are here. Its roots are in Rome, and that's where Christendom came from. So, in order to set yourself right with the Most High, you got to come out of the church and you got to come out of all of this stuff. Yes, you're supposed to be upset. Israelites should be upset because it is making a mockery of our people. It's saying something without saying something. Now, for the heathen, hey, you get it how you live it. But if you're trying to follow the ways of the Israelites, then you have to be set apart and you have to even come out of Christendom, because Christendom is a root of the Catholic Church. Its roots are in Catholicism, and we know how those folks roll. There was a lot of homosexuality, a lot of transgenderism, a lot of soldiers having same-sex relationships even if they were married. So there's a lot of perversion. You have to go back and study about that empire. And even before that, you go back and you look through the Bible when it talks about how people lived during the days of Noah and the days of Lot, which is why the world had to be destroyed. This is just another telegraph to, hey, we ain't got long. We about to be destroyed. So should be getting ready for something to happen, because I believe personally that all this public display of the abominations will lead to the desolation of these nations and the heathens and these Gentiles who tolerate it, and even Christianity, because Christianity has its roots in this type of behavior. So there's nothing that you can say. When you study Christendom, you study who gave it to you, you study the lifestyles of the people, even the Catholic Church. Like they priests don't get married, so who do you think they have sex with? And why do you think they got all these orphanages all over the place? So they have access to children who are defenseless and who don't have any power to stop the people that are hurting them. And these people also claim to help them. So it's a vicious, ugly cycle. When you really get into the insides of it, it is awful. But I'm not going to go into all that. Just like I said, while the internet is still up, use it for something besides porn and watching social media, watching black people dance, doing TikTok dances and dance trends, stupid stuff. Learn while you can, because you'll see there's nothing new under the sun. This stuff is not new. It's just a manifestation of things that have been old. What was old is new again. Okay, so It says the scene caused a disturbance on social media where conservative political leaders from around the world blasted the displays of as blasphemous. Speaker Mike Johnson wrote on X, last night's mockery of the Last Supper was shocking and insulting to Christian people around the world who watched the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games. The war on our faith and traditional values knows no bounds today, he added, but we know the truth and the virtue will always prevail. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. But note, this dude who's talking, who's the Speaker of the House of Representatives in Congress, he's a Catholic. So they are even conflating Christendom with Catholicism now. So this is why you have to be careful, and you can't label yourself nothing. You just, I'm a follower of the way. You know what nation or tribe you're from, in my opinion. But you can't be going around claiming all this other stuff, because these other religions are back under the Roman Catholic Church. So it said, then in a Sunday interview with French broadcaster, oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I skipped the paragraph. So it says, meanwhile, on Friday, the official Olympic Games X account shared photos from the portion of the program featuring the blue man at the Tableau's Center and explained, the interpretation of the Greek god Dionysus makes us aware of the absurdity of violence between human beings. Never heard of it. Then in a Sunday interview with French broadcaster BFM-TV, Jolly admitted he wanted to be very theatrical. He also provided apparently contradictory context to the statement given by Paris 2024 producers that same day. It's not my inspiration, and that should be pretty obvious. There's Dionysus arriving on a table. Why is he there? First and foremost, because he is the god of celebration in Greek mythology, and the tableau is called festivity, Jolly said, translated to English. He is also the god of wine, which is also one of the jewels of France, and the father of Sequania, the goddess of the river Seine. I don't know how to say it. Sorry. So it says the idea was to depict a big pagan celebration linked to the gods of Olympus and thus the Olympics. So these people are telling us to our face what time it is. They're mocking the Israelites. They're mocking everything that we stand for. They're mocking our ways, our culture. They're mocking the Most High. And they're saying, we're going to put our God before your God. Our God is bigger. Our God is this. It's going to be real ugly soon, because a lot of people who are watching this stuff don't really understand the demonic undertones and the going back to the Tower of Babel or Babel, is basically where we're headed. And it's just wild that they would do it in your face. But I mean, he's basically telling, and I'm going to assume that he's a part of the alphabet community, because who else is sitting around doing that? I don't understand how these people just be like, oh, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this. They don't care. Like, it is open season on believers, people who are trying to follow the ways of the Most High. And you have to understand that these people, the synagogue of who, they control Hollywood, they control the news, they control the media, they control everything. So they're putting it in your face to let you know what time it is. There is no accident. These abominations that are being presented to us are done intentionally, but it's also they're worshiping their gods, and they are setting the table, the atmosphere for the anti-Messiah to come onto the scene. And I don't know when it's going to happen, but you could just tell there's no there's no mistake about what they want you to see or know. So it says his extraordinary shows are proof that he knows how to break norms and take them. Did I skip another? Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped another paragraph. So it says the ceremony was designed by Joly, the French actor and director who was appointed artistic director of ceremonies in 2022. For Paris 2024, appointing Thomas Joly as artistic director of the ceremonies is an ambitious choice that is consistent with our vision. So it's their vision to present this to the world. And you got to understand the Olympics is about getting all these nations to get behind whatever the anti-Messiah is doing. So this is really going back to the time of the Greek gods, which were giants and Nephilim. So you got to understand in my opinion, what they're calling or conjuring up for the people, and the people don't really know. By getting behind this, putting their energy behind it, sitting and watching it, and allow it to basically for allowing them to cast spells on us is really crazy. And the fact that like nobody's really pissed off about it, or very few people are pissed off about it, is pissed off enough to do something that makes an impact is wild to me. Like you could barely find the story today because something already else done covered it up. So it says his extraordinary shows are proof that he knows how to break norms and take them to the next level. And that's what all this LGBTQ alphabet agenda is all about, taking everything to the next level. Take it to the next level. Take it to the next level. Take it to the next level. Before you know it, nobody will know who they are, and nobody will like to do anything that's natural. Nobody will have natural affection for each other, and it will allow them to slowly but surely depopulate the world. And so you look at our kids today. Kids, all they want to do is play video games, but they're being targeted by all these trans content creators, people who have other agendas. We don't know the agendas of the people who are behind the stuff that the kids watch. You can't hardly watch nothing now without having a demonic undertone. And I talked about the cartoons, how the cartoons talk about all kinds of stuff, witchcraft, spirits jumping out of stuff into pigs and jumping out of pigs into people. I've seen so much crazy stuff when I watch TV with my grandkids. I'm like, y'all bullying, y'all watch this stuff. But it's everywhere. And so when they go to school now, they're telling the kids they can be whatever they want. They don't have to tell their parents if they want to be a girl. They can be a girl. The boys want to be girls. They can be girls, and giving them non-binary dolls. My son said his son came home, and my youngest grandson is 6, came home last school year with a non-binary doll. And he said he came in the house and he was like, Dad, I got this doll. My daddy said, what? He said, I'm sorry, not my daddy. My son said, what? You got a doll? What you gonna do with this? And he said, my grandson said, it's a boy. It can be a boy or a girl. It doesn't matter. And my son said, it can't be nothing but a boy or a girl, and you can go outside and give that to the dog. So he went outside and gave it to the dog. But my grandson was in kindergarten last year. No, I'm sorry. He was in first grade last year, so he's going to the second grade. So last year in the first grade, he was dealing with this. And if me and my son didn't have conversations, and my son hadn't been a child who I had to fight for the whole time he was in school, he wouldn't know what to look for. So he's like he's like a bulldog now, about just all kinds of stuff when it comes to these kids. But my point is, they're getting the kids younger and younger. And like I have friends that have daughters, like just about all the girls don't like boys. They are bisexual, or they are just outright lesbians and feminists, and so they have fixed the society up where no matter how much we protest out here because of what's right and what's wrong, what's natural and what's unnatural, they're attacking the kids, and the kids are going to be so confused. They don't know, because they go to school for 8 hours a day. We don't know what they're teaching those kids in school. They've made it so you can't even go sit in the classrooms anymore. All they want to meet you in the office, but you don't get to see what is happening in the classroom and what these teachers are teaching these kids. So it is very scary to see what's on display, because they're targeting the next two generations of young people, and everybody will be corrupted. And the other thing is, these people are pedos. So what they're really doing is making it to where kids are comfortable with being with inappropriate relationships. That's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to get off of that subject, because I could go down a whole other road that probably will get me kicked off of YouTube. But there's a lot of wicked stuff going on, and we need to be aware of it. But they're basically telling you what time it is. And so we need to be prepared spiritually, because this is a spiritual battle. No matter what we see, the battle is spiritual. And they are making plans to usher in the darkness, the adversary, and all the demons and all the legions of things that are going to come our way. The Greek gods, or the Nephilim, or all these different things they've told us were not real. They're getting ready to come back. You think the earth quaking for nothing? No, these things ready to bust out and be out here with us. And these spirits, they need something to get into. So what you think they're going to get into? They're going to get into your children, your aunties and uncles, your parents, your friends, your coworkers, all the people who are out here outside doing everything except for being mindful of their spirit, being mindful of their energy, being mindful that they are not doing low frequency things and low vibrational stuff, and just isolating yourself from all of that, so that you can protect your spirit, so that you can build up your spirit and monitor what's going on, even with you. Like, I feel tired and stressed, but I know the reasons for that. And so I can just continue to isolate myself and just be mindful of what I need to do. But there are a lot of people who ain't doing nothing. They just out here just not doing nothing. And so we got to get to a point, or to a place where we can see what's coming, and we can work on our spirits. Our spiritual well-being is very important right now. When the word says the battle is spiritual, you better believe it. And a lot of us don't know how to pray. We don't fast. We think we can be in and out, and just not really serious about protecting ourselves and our families. We gotta pray for so much stuff, and we gotta really try to get our emotional well-being together, because this is going to be a very difficult time for us. I'm blessed that I'm able to see stuff in people, and people are afraid of me. When I say people, I mean spirits. Like, when somebody, if I see something in somebody and I recognize it, and I could just kind of give it a look and just say to myself, I see you, I recognize you. A lot of times you'll see people coughing and sneezing and just being loud and rude and wrong, or they just do stuff that lets you know they're uncomfortable because they're in your presence. You have to build up your spirit man, so that you can have that type of intimidation when those types of things come around you. When those types of spirits or that type of energy is in a person and it's around you, you need it to identify itself so you know what you're in the midst of, and so that you can pray, and so that you can keep yourself guarded from those things, so they don't enter you, or so they don't taint you or anybody that is around you, or anything that you have to control, because these things are I mean, you're starting to see it manifest, see these spirits manifest themselves in people a little bit, but it's getting ready to get bad, because they're calling these things to the earth. They're calling these things out of the earth. They're setting an atmosphere to make that the norm. And so when it happens, when these people start attacking us and trying to get our children stuff, you're gonna have to be ready to defend yourself. You're gonna have to defend yourself in everything that you're in charge over, spiritually and maybe even physically. You don't know, but you better get ready, because they ain't playing with us. Now, before I end, I want to just say, you can see how these people now today, well, this was yesterday, after they did the thing, they apologize for mocking the Last Supper. But it's too late. So it doesn't matter what happens after the fact. It's the fact that they will do it and risk whatever backlash they get, because they know the people that they're mocking ain't going to do nothing. That has to end. And if you read the story of the Israelites, what the Most High was telling people to do when you have this type of stuff around you in your community, in your tribe, it wasn't, oh, just pray for them and just forgive them. I'm gonna have to pull up the chapter where it showed. I'm gonna get it for you, and I'm gonna do a video, and I'm gonna relate it to this particular incident. But they did not tolerate strange things in their tribes. They got rid of it. And the people that brought it in, they had to go. They were made examples of, so that nobody else would try it. And if they were caught trying it, they had to go. Either you had to go off and be with the people that did the stuff that you like to do, because there's always free choice. But if you tried to stay amongst the Israelites and live outside of the law, statutes, and commandments, and live in abomination, if you wasn't trying to live holy and righteous, you was getting smoke. And the Israelite men had all the smoke for you. You wasn't living among them and taking their community. And that is where we're headed back to a time where that will be the way. But until then, we have to set a standard, and we have to show that we believe in the law, statutes, and commandments by not tolerating that type of behavior. So it's not just about outwardly being pissed off about it, but you also gotta physically do things to demonstrate this is not how we're gonna live. And it starts in your house, and you have to model the way that you 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 walk. So a lot of people gonna be like, we gotta love everybody, and you gotta love the person, hate what is it? What is it? Love the sinner, hate the sin. That's not how we're supposed to live. That's very Christian. That's Christendom. That is not what the Most High told us to do. And you're going to go back, if you read the Old Testament, there were a lot of times where stuff was introduced to the Israelites because the men or women brought people from other nations into the tribes, and they worshiped other gods, they lived other ways, they witnessed other things, and they start trying to do those things amongst the people, and it did not end well. Sometimes it didn't end well for the heathen who was living amongst the Israelites, but a lot of times it didn't end well for the Israelites, which is how we ended up in captivity and why we are in the position that we're in today. So if you want to keep living under heathen rule keep on not doing nothing about these folks. We got to try to get right. So obey those laws, statutes, and commandments. Repent. Do not participate in any of these pagan rituals because they've told you what it is. They are worshiping pagan gods, pagan ways, and what comes with that? Destruction. So if you'd like to be destroyed, continue on the wide path. All right, this is Marley K. Like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be here because they're starting to mess with my stuff. So just make sure you are downloading the content, and please do your own research. I'm gonna put a link to both of these stories in the description, but look up these old gods and look up Greek culture, and you'll see it was nothing nice. It's not our culture, so we should not be participating in it. And Christianity is not our way. It's the way of the Catholic Church. It's the ways of the heathens. It's the ways of the Gentiles. It's the ways of Rome. So if they're upset, and I'll just say this, whatever they're doing, y'all need to be going the opposite direction at this point. So with that said, I'm out.